All right, here we go. So I wanted to show something that I haven't saw from anybody, and I think it's like one of the coolest things to add to the deck, which is tour guide from the underworld. Now, tour guide from the underworld. If you get this card in your hand, and let's say you normal summon this card out, right? If this card gets stopped, you see it has 1,000 attack. You could simply link this off for Solemn Great Almirage because it says 1,000 attack or less. It meets the conditions for that. And then you have a link one on the field. And so cards like Cupsy Yummy Way can then be special summoned, and then boom, you can make your plays, right? Lollipo can be special summoned and you can make your plays, whatever. So you have ways to actually continue to play. Um, Let me show you what you can do with Tour Guide. Now, if you start off with Tour Guide, you're going to summon Sangen. You can run Sangen at more than just how many I have, but I figured that Tour Guide is how I want to start this off. If you have just Sangen by itself, you can still do the same thing. Sangen is at 1,000 attack points, which means you can just normal summon Sangen, link that off into Solemn Great Almirage, and then Sangen. If you have no more cards, you can actually search for a Yummy, and then you can continue to make your plays there. Just be aware of the fact that if you search for a Yummy card, it cannot activate its effects for the rest of the turn, but it can special summon. So what do I mean by that? You do not want to search for Cupsy Yummy. You don't want to search for Marshmallow Yummy because you need those effects to actually do your combo. So what you're going to want to search for is either Lollipo, or the I forget the name of it. You'll see in just a second. So we're gonna link these off for Camellia, specifically Camellia for a reason, and I'm gonna show you why. So we're gonna link them off for Camellia, and this is where you can search. Now you do not have to search for a yummy name. You do not have to search for a yummy name. Clipsies, that's the other one, or Cookie. I mean, so you got Cookie and Lollipo. Those are the two that you want to search for. One or the other off of Sangen. If you then that's just if you start off with Sangen and you have no more yummies. That's how you get into the yummy plays using Sangen. But if you're doing it with Tour Guide, like how I'm doing here, you don't even have to worry about that because the Sky Striker will bridge into it, so you can use the Sangen search for whatever you want. You can search for Maxi. I already have Maxi in my hand, so I do not need to search it. You can search for Ash Blossom. You can search for Droll and Lockbird, or Fuwalos, whatever. Fuwalos is probably one of the dumbest things to search for because you're going to have cards on the field. So either Ash Blossom, Droll and Lockbird, Maxi, Ghost Bell. Ghost Bell and Ash Blossom are the top two targets that I would say search for. Unless you just want the Maxi. But here's the thing. Maxi and Droll, as well as like Ghost Bell and a couple, or not Ghost Bell, but Ghost Ogre, a couple other cards have to go to the graveyard specifically to actually activate. Because you can't discard them to the graveyard, they can't do anything. So Ash Blossom is better for being able to just use it right away to save you from using your Omni Negate. But if you have a way, if you're planning on using your and this is the reason why, Herald of Arclight, it sends any card from the hand or main deck to the graveyard. That's the floodgate. So this floodgates you as well. So if you search Maxi, you have to get rid of Herald of Arclight first before you can actually activate it. So I'm just going to search for Ash Blossom to show this point, and to show that the card will actually be live. But I just wanted to point that out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go Camellia. And I know what you're thinking. Why would you send Engage? I'm sending Engage right here because if they were going to Droll and Lockbird me, they would have done it already. If they were going to Ash, they would Ash that send effect right there. So doesn't really matter. Trust me. If they're going to do something, it would have already happened. If they were going to Droll, they would have already Drolled. If they were going to Ash, they would have Ashed regardless of which one I send. So now we're going to go Kagari. And then right here, if they're gonna ghost bell, they were gonna ghost bell anyways. So it does not matter. I just want to point that out because people will say, well, what about Droll? Now you're playing into Droll with the engage. Well, when I searched off of the singing, they would have drolled me right after that anyways. So it didn't matter. So we're gonna go engage to grab the hornet drones, and this is just for deck thinning purposes. And then we're gonna go hornet drones. And in this case, you could just take the engage out completely and just keep hornet drones by itself. Then we're gonna go into Cupsy Yummy Way. Now, everything that I do here on out is very specific. Just be very careful with this. You want to search for a Marshmallow Yummy, and you also want to search for Cupsy Yummy. Those are the two you want to search for. I already have Cupsy Yummy, so instead of searching for Cupsy Yummy, I'm going to search for Cookie Yummy. But you should search for Cupsy Yummy, and you're going to see why. So now we can discard something. So I'm going to discard, let's discard, this is kind of tough. I'll just discard something that I know I won't need for the combo. So, but I don't want to discard a Yummy because then it'll kind of like, well, it won't matter. We don't need these Cookie or Lollipop, so we can discard them. I will discard Cookie. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go Marshmallow Yummy first. There's a reason why I'm going Marshmallow Yummy first, because if I go actually, you know what? The reason why I don't want to go Cupsy first is because I always screw this up, but specifically because I always screw this up, I want to do it first. So we're gonna go Cupsy Yummy right here, and then off of the Cupsy Yummy, the monster, you always remember to only add the surprise off of Cupsy Yummy. I have so many times added the field spell and fucked myself over. Always add surprise. Then before I fuck this up, I'm gonna make sure I summon Marshmallow, because I only have light beast monsters. So before you start doing link summons and all of that good stuff, go ahead and get Marshmallow out on the field. Now there's a reason why I was also saying Cupsy, you don't summon Cupsy first, you summon Marshmallow first, is because in case your opponent Nibiru's you. Now you hold on to the Cupsy and then you get surprised and all of that stuff later, but if you do it the other way, you'll understand. So what we're going to do is we're going to link for Snatchy. So we're going to go Snatchy to grab this field spell right here, the Mignon. Don't grab the other one, grab Mignon. And then once you do that, now you can actually activate the Mignon, and this card should still be in your hand, but I just wanted to show this so that way I could explain it of why you wanted to do it first with the other one, so you don't like prevent yourself from being able to get it onto the field through special summon. So now we're going to activate the Mignon because we have a link 1 to resummon the Marshmallow. We're ignoring the Cookies even in our grave. So resummon the Marshmallow, right? So boom, boom, boom. Those are our 3. Just think of it as these are our 3 cards on the field. Then this is where you can special summon the Cupsy Yummy way, right? Once you summon the Cupsy Yummy way, then now this is where you can go you can go into Marshmallow using this and this. And this is also like you want to be very specific in the order of all of this. this is also where you would also search the surprise. So just make sure that you're at this point, right? This is how your field should look, right? Now, what you're gonna do is when you go into Herald of the Arclight, right here, using this. Actually, no. I almost did that wrong. Actually, no, I can't do that. I can't do that because I can use surprise. So when you go into Herald using this, oh my God, Herald plus this and this. Then we can use surprise to actually bring back the marshmallow. Now, specifically marshmallow right here. And marshmallow will add the surprise right back to our hand. Then we can go into, I believe it's Lollipo. Yeah, Lollipo. Using this plus this. And then this will summon us 2 bodies back out onto the field. So we can just go 2 monsters. Doesn't really matter what it is. Just 2 monsters. Then from here, we can go into Sprite Elf, or we can go into this card right here, the Samsara Sorrow Cat. This is how you would bridge. So if you want to bridge into Mitsurugi, this card right here will help you. So I'll show you how you can kind of do this. So we will take, let's take either one of these. It doesn't matter which one. This plus this. For Sorrow Cat. And then we will go into Sprite Elf using this plus this. This will activate Herald of the Arclight to grab our Habakiri. Sprite Elf can actually reborn back one of our level 2s, so Cupsy or Lollipo. And then we can actually go into IP Masquerena using this, the Samsara Sorrow Cat plus the Cupsy Yummy Way. I prefer to leave the level 1 on the field because when this card comes back, that's how you will make your you'll see. That's how you will make your thing again. So right here, you can activate the Samsara Sorrow Cat, and you would target Herald of Arclight right here. And then there we go. So now we can make Herald of Arclight again, but I'm gonna wait because, I mean, well, I guess if you want the Omni Negate, you could go ahead and make it. But the problem is you'll start losing bodies. You know what? I'll show it. I'll show how to do this. If you're kind of, well, nah, I won't. That's kind of careless. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go Habakiri for Saji Tribute, and then we're gonna grab Ritual. Of course, Ritual. Fuck, that happened so quick. For a Habakiri, and then we're gonna send Kusanagi plus Aramasa. Hopefully I don't misclick because my mouse is like really screwed up. So I'm gonna try to be very careful with these clicks, not to double click, because I don't want some of this to confirm. So we're going to add, let's add Futsu right here. And then we're gonna ritual again. And this time we're gonna tribute to summon the Mirakumo. Now, I can use the Futsu in hand or the Habakiri, but I'm just gonna tribute Habakiri to summon out the Mirakumo. Then I can add the mirror right here. Now at this point, I'm not going, well, I can right here because I've already done enough. So just in case you summon right here and you get stuck, at this point you can go ahead and go and make your Herald of Arclight, because we've already did the send effect. So it doesn't matter. Even though it's not under one of the arrows, it's okay. But we've already done the send effect, so we've already sent Kusanagi and the stuff from hand, so we're okay. We probably could have made Herald of Arclight before we just did that ritual summon, but it's okay. Trust me, don't worry. You're gonna be fine. If they imperm Herald of Arclight, it's not the end of the world. Don't worry. So we're gonna go Mitsurugi mirror right here, and then we're gonna make we're gonna tribute the Mirakumo, the Futsu. We're gonna activate the Mirakumo to grab prayers. And right here, I'm not going to summon Mirakumo back out for well, actually I will. Why not? Fuck it. And then we're just going to activate prayers and tribute the Futsu. And I'm just going to add a card right here. I would special summon a monster, but I'm just going to add a monster. So we're just going to add this. And then we're going to activate Futsu and then mirror to chain block the final part of it. And then this time I'm going to grab Purification, so I'll have a second Omni Negate. Then we're going to summon Futsu. So now we could set our surprise, set our red reboot, set Purification. Reboot is what we would have in hand. We also searched for a Ash Blossom in this combo, and we also had a Maxi, so we could have searched for Maxi. And then I'll show how this combo, how this can actually work as a way to break boards. So first of all, if you're going to search for Maxi, you're going to need to get rid of Herald pretty early. Let's do that. So of course they're going to Allure of Darkness. We have a Ash Blossom in hand. That's our searched Ash Blossom. So let's just go ahead and activate it so I can prove that it works, because we did search that. And then if you searched for Herald of Arclight, we can actually just activate Herald. And this will actually negate and destroy. It removes our floodgate, but this kind of just shows you, like, playing against this deck specifically, Herald is actually pretty good. But you can also search with Herald for some ritual stuff too when you do use it. So right here, what I can do is go Sprite Elf and bring back one of my Yummies. And then when he activates, I can chain this to it. It'll summon up to 2 Yummy monsters from the graveyard, so I'm going to wait because I want to get both monsters. So he's going to basically, if this card is discarded, they can special summon. I'm going to force him to lose another body. Or actually, you know what? Let's chain that Maxi to it. Why not? Let's chain that Maxi to it. Let's get some card draws. And there it is. He's going to normal this monster out. So what I'm going to do is chain IP Masquerena. And this is beneficial because it shows like how these interruptions are actually going to be used. So we can get rid of the Habakiri because I don't need it. It's basically like a Habakiri basically like reduces their attack, making it more difficult for them to attack over our cards. But let's just banish this brow right here, just like that, and then they're just going to end their turn. But if they were to do any more activations, now I can start doing like yummy plays, and that's what I was ultimately trying to get to. If they were to continue the special summon, the Futsu would be able to make its plays. I still have the Omni negate with Mitsurugi Great Purification, so we can just negate something while searching as well. And then we still have our yummy surprise. So once we get basically 2 light beast monsters on the field, and they get 2 monsters on the field, we could then chain the surprise. So what we would want to do in that case would be to bring back Snatchy plus like a Cupsy or something, or a Marshmallow or whatnot. In doing so, what we would do is if we brought back Cupsy, we can draw a card. Plus Snatchy, we can also change the field spell out so we can pop a card when we do go into our synchro, which we will do. And then we can go surprise to actually send those 2 cards back, chain the Snatchy to the surprise so we can synchro the 2 monsters because we don't need them on the field at the time. And then what'll happen is we can send 2 cards off of their field back. We can return them to their hand and then synchro with the 2 bodies on the field if we chain the Snatchy. And what that does is we'll draw a card off of Cupsy, because Cupsy is probably what you're going to have in the graveyard unless you were getting other cards in the grave in some other way too. Or if you want to just put Snatchy back into your hand so you can loop the card itself, you can also do that as well through Marshmallow. But that's if you choose to do it that way. I would put Cupsy back so I can draw another card, potentially drawing into a hand trap to stop my opponents. And if you do that, then boom, now you synchro into on your opponent's turn, and you can make Cookie, and of course this will Book of Moon cards when it is synchro summoned. So if you want to do that, you can actually do that as well. So you can Book of Moon 2 cards. But that's kind of like some advanced play style type of stuff anyways. So you do have like plays that you can make. You got a lot of stuff you can do. But my opponents, they're ending their turn, so I can't really even show any of that unless I just end my turn right now and just showcase that, which is what I may actually do. So let's actually just do that. I kind of want to show and not just explain. So they're going to send something to the grave. In this case, I could Cupsy Yummy right here. Get those 2 bodies onto the field that I was talking about. So we'll go Snatchy plus the Cupsy, put those 2. Cupsy will allow me to draw a card. So we'll go Snatchy right here to keep it from being able to get impermed or targeted. And then we'll put Cupsy on the field right there. Then of course we're gonna go Cupsy. Oh yeah, plus the field spell will be able to pop. And then the Snatchy. So we'll be able to change the field spell out. So we lose the attack bonus, we draw a card, which is fine. And then if we synchro, we'll be able to actually pop a card. And it looks like they're just going to end their turn, so I won't even be able to really show what I really wanted to show because they're not going to try to summon another card. So what that means is we're just gonna have to go ahead and snatchy now. When we do go into a synchro, we can actually pop a card on my opponent's side of the field because the synchro was made during my opponent's turn. So right here, I can go into Cupsy if I want follow up, or oh no, or Cookie right here, and Cookie can book a moon their card flipping it face down. But I'm gonna pop this, so I don't have to go into it just yet. I can just go into Cupsy, which is what I'm gonna do. So right into Cupsy Yummy. And we're gonna go ahead and pop a card. So Cupsy and pop. Now ideally you don't want to go back into Cupsy right here because I lose the ability to use this effect because I've already used it. Because you can only use one of each effect once per turn, but they're not gonna do anything else. I could also just sprite elf right here to bring the other one back, which is what I'll probably do. Why not? And just like that, we just pop that card, and then I can just add these two to my hand, and then I can discard whatever I want. Now because this will activate and it'll special summon from the graveyard, like so basically what happens, it'll special summon the yummies from the graveyard. Because I already have Cupsy and Marshmallow in my hand, I'm gonna discard the Lollipop that I search. So then that way when I summon them, I can get access to their effects. But of course they're gonna just end their turn. So like I said before, I can't even really show like what this really does because the computer is not gonna really like do anything. In which I could just end the turn again, but at that point I think I'm just kind of showing like too much. Oh yeah, so the field spells are loopable and they also give you some form of recursion. So if you start using up like your snatchies, because you get two of them, you can actually send snatchy back plus something that's in your graveyard. I have multiple marshmallows and multiple Cupsies, so I can just send Cupsy back and then this, and then I'll still have Marshmallow and Cupsy here in my hand. And so I'll go into attack position with this, and I can actually make Baron the floor too, by the way, using any of the two level 2 synchros plus whatever. So I'll just go this plus this, just, well actually I'll go with Mirakumo. Go with Mirakumo just because this can actually bring Mirakumo back, which it doesn't matter. If I'm being honest with you, it doesn't matter. This is game regardless, plus I still have prayers, so I can actually bring back the Mirakumo if I wanted to, plus mirror. So yeah, actually that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna go Mirakumo, and I'm going to tribute the Futsu. It'll summon back. I'll add prayers. And there we go. And we pretty much have everything to cook at this point. So if you were getting deeper into the game, like you kind of see the power of Yummy, hopefully. Even though I wasn't able to show like the Book of Moon, the field spell, and all of that good stuff. And you can also just search the field spell by just going into a snatchy. So I could just link this off right now. This is a good thing about SP Little Knight, is it gives you more arrows. So I could just go into a snatchy with this card right here, and then that'll give me the other field spell. Baron actually helps in situations like this where your field's clogged, but you want to make plays with Yummy. You can just pop one of your own cards whenever you're ready to make space. Um, because with Mitsurugi, you'll be able to bring it back with prayers, but the field won't look like this clogged if you're doing just Yummy stuff. But if you're doing Mitsurugi, this is what your board will look like most of the time. Is it'll be clogged as shit. And that's not even mentioning that we have imperm prayers and stuff to set, and we never even got a chance to use our purification, plus having to run red reboot for all the trap decks. So yeah, but hopefully I kind of showed you like the power of this deck, like starting it off by being able to search a hand trap, powerful hand traps at that. And like I said before, you do want to be mindful. You do want to be mindful that when you do what I just did, um, and you make Herald of Arclight will prevent you from using Maxi. But here's the thing. Um, you can also get Herald of Arclight back. I know this might sound stupid, um, but you can get Herald of Arclight back onto your field if you like the Floodgate, um, by actually activating Baron's effect. So let's say if you get Baron on the field, you use your Herald of Arclight negate, it goes to the graveyard. You can actually use Baron. So let's say you use the negate of Baron up, and you've already used the negate of Herald, or you had to link your Herald off for some reason. You can get this card back through Baron on the standby phase. So this card says you can target one level 9 or lower monster in your grave. You return this card to the extra deck and then special summon that monster. So you can basically put Herald back onto the field through Baron. So essentially kind of getting 3 Omni negates. So you would get an Omni negate with Herald, an Omni negate with Baron, and then on the standby phase, you bring Herald back, giving you another Omni negate plus the Floodgate. If you manage to use them that many times. So if you're using Herald, don't be afraid if you're going to make Baron anyways, because you can just get it right back if they stop it. And here's another thing that a lot of people I don't think realize with Baron. If you use Baron's Omni negate and you make SP Little Knight, you can actually use SP Little Knight to reset Baron. So you SP Little Knight and you use Baron to send, and you can send your opponent's card too, but you could just chain this to it, and you could send both of these and they'll both come back, and when they come back, Baron's Omni negate will be back as well. So just something to keep in mind. So if you use Baron's Omni negate and you don't see a reason to use SP Little Knight to banish one of their cards to stop them, you can just reset Baron with it. Yeah, that's also one way to do it. I kind of showed like how to actually use these 2 cards. I know most people only play one, but I definitely just showed you how to use both of these to actually take Herald of Arclight off the field and put it right back. You're using Herald the first time when you put it on the field to actually get to your ritual monster, and then the second time is so you get the Floodgate and the Omni negate, and that's how you loop it even though it's at 1, is using these 2 cards. Yeah, I've saw people say, well, it's at 1, so now if you search you lose the Omni negate. No, you can put it back. You just have to have both of these cards to do so. There's also another card that'll do it called a Ham, which involves you discarding. I'll show you the card. This card right here, the Star Ham. So what this card does is It's a level 3 synchro, and it says if this card is synchro summon, you can discard one card, special summon one monster from the graveyard that was used as material for this card's synchro summon, and if you do, it is treated as a tuner. So basically, you can summon something back with this card that was used to make this card, and it'll be treated as a tuner if it's not. Then it says right here that if this card is in your graveyard, you can discard 2 cards, special summon this card, and then banish it when it leaves the field. So that's the other effect of the Star Ham. There are also some other stuff that you can do in terms of combos using like Cupid Pitch. I spelled that wrong. So involving Cupid Pitch. Cupid Pitch can search. So I haven't done this specifically yet, but instead of making Herald of Arclight as your level 4 synchro, you can make Cupid Pitch. And when this card is actually used for synchro summon, you see right here, it says inflict damage to your opponents equal to the new synchro summon monsters level and whatever, right? Well, what this does is you can add one level 8 or lower monster with 600 defense from your deck to your hand. Well, I don't even know the name of the card, but I know it's in here because I use it. So I'll be able to get to it. Not Nemesis Flag. Don't worry. Not this one. There's another one. This one right here. Nemesis Corridor. So you see 600 defense right there. Nemesis Corridor can unbanish something. So you know how the Star Ham like banishes when it's resummoned back? Well, this card can unbanish it. So you would use the Star Ham to bring back a level 1, make it a tuner, go into Cupid Pitch. It'll get banished when it leaves the field, or you could just do that with a card like this card right here, Samsora. This one literally it actually gets banished when it leaves the field too. So you can use this to go into Cupid Pitch, and when you do, you can actually bring this card back at some point, so you can link it off whatever you want to do to get it banished. Go into Cupid Pitch, and then when you synchro Cupid Pitch off, basically that other card will get banished. Cupid Pitch will search for this one, and then now you got Nemesis Corridor. And what does Nemesis Corridor get you to? Well, none other than, oh yeah, let me go back. So let me go back to Corridor real quick, because I didn't explain this. So you can target one banished monster, unbanish it, shuffle this, whatever, right? But this happens from your hand. So you activate this card, and this card special summons from your hand. So because you're activating an effect from your hand, that means that because you're activating an effect from the hand, that means that when Corridor hits the field, it says right here, must be fusion summoned or special summoned during the turn a thunder monster's effect was activated in the hand. So basically you can just overlay, well, not overlay, but use that Corridor as material to make Colossus, Thunder Dragon Colossus. This will prevent your opponent from being able to add any cards to their hand. They only can draw cards, so this basically is like a on-field This is basically like a on field, and this is only one sided too. This is like a on field Droll and Lockbird. They can only draw cards. So they would have to try to negate this. But the thing is, the beauty to this Yummy deck is when you make Thunder Dragon Colossus, it's probably going to be under Sprite Elf. So they can if they imperm it, they would have to have two imperms, or they would have to have like something that can negate multiple cards, something that doesn't target, or like what's a good card for example of this? I guess let me go back. So I can't think of cards off head without like just searching for them. So let me just go to it because I know the cards in some of my decks. I don't know what the name of the card is, but it's in there. There it is. Forbidden Droplet. I don't know why that was so hard for me, but Forbidden Droplet doesn't target. So Forbidden Droplet can beat that. I know Dark Ruler No More can beat it. I have Dark Ruler No More in what deck is it? Not Dragon Rulers. I think it's in this one. It's supposed to be in this deck. Yep, Dark Ruler No More. It's funny how like some of these decks that I have, they have like different cards. I got a ton of decks, and if you don't know, if you run out of deck space, you can always just go to the Numeron network and save decks, and then come back to them and use them later. And so I've saved a lot of decks, and trust me when I tell you that I have enough URs and stuff to continue to make decks. So I actually have some decks built that I can't even play because I just don't have the space to play them. But I got all the cards unlocked, so I can play them whenever I'm ready to. Because I've been playing this game for quite a long time. Got a lot of URs, got a lot of everything. Which is why I also don't uncraft stuff. So this is a whole rant that I'm getting into, but I don't uncraft my cards. Look at how many like URs and stuff I got, right? Let me show y'all something real quick. This is just like extra. The video's over in terms of the Mitsurugi, but look, let me show y'all something real quick. So let's just take off the SRs, right? Let's just look at our URs. I uncraft the stuff that I'd never plan on making the decks for, but everything else I keep. And I know what you're thinking. What do you mean everything else you keep? I will show you an example of everything else I keep. So the easiest way to showcase this is to simply just change to unlimited to limited. Look, I got 3 Yummy Snatchies in my deck. Or not in my deck, but I have access to 3 Yummy Snatchies. I could uncraft this and then it'll be at 2. Right? I have 3 Keldos. If it's at 1, why do you have 3, Mike? I have these I can't undo, but this one I can. I can definitely dismantle this. Now these I have at 1, but it's for a good reason. Don't worry about those. But look, I still have Poplar at 3, and there's only 1. Mike, they changed it a long time ago. Why don't you get your gems back? Mike, Sharon has been at 2 for how long? Why didn't you get your gems back? Mike, Fairy Tale Snow, like now Snow I've always kept it at 2 even when it was at 3 because I've only needed 2 ever. So I've always only used 2. There's a reason for this. There's a reason why I have 3 Solemn Judgment still. I still have 3 Lightning Storm. I still have 2 Dimensional Shifter. I did decraft one of those, but there's a reason why. And let me show you why. So there are times where, look, I got cards crafted, URs, that are like on the forbidden list. There are some that I did decraft. I can say I did decraft terraforming. I decrafted Instant Fusion, Vanity's Emptiness, Imperial Order. These are cards that I did have at one point, and I've decrafted. But also this card right here, Smoke Grenade of the Thief. I do plan on recraft them at some point, but the reason why I like to keep my cards and I don't like to decraft them is because sometimes I like to play like the forbidden list where you can play with your cards unlimited or whatever. But there's also another reason. If you decraft all of your cards, sometimes they re-release these cards back. They change the numbers back to what they were. A perfect example of this, let me go to it, is Branded Despia. This is a perfect example. This card was at 1 not too long ago. This card started off at 3. They moved it down to 1. They bumped it right back up to 2. So, boom. If you were to decraft, now you would have to recraft. So, sure, they give you your gems back, right? They give you your gems back. But when you go to recraft it back, now you're buying packs. Or you have to craft it, right? Which means you lose 30 gems. Now, sure, if you just craft it, you got the gems back that you use, but you're probably out of gems, which means that you have to find a way to generate more gems, which means you have to buy packs. So if you just never decraft them and you just buy packs for whatever you need, then now you still have access to the deck. And that's why I have so many decks that are full. All of my decks have all the cards, all the URs and everything. And then if I ever get to a point where a deck is no longer viable, it's no longer playable, the deck is pretty much dead, then I can just decraft that entire deck. But the thing is, I don't like decrafting, just because they could bring the deck back. And I can give you another example of this that is the perfect example, because this deck was completely killed and now it's completely back. If I can find it, I don't even know if I have it still built. Sprite, there it is right there. Sprite was completely killed off. Look at this. Sprite Blue, didn't this card get down to like 1 not too long ago? Didn't Sprite Blue and Jet get down to like 1? And guess what? I never had to recraft all this because I never decrafted it. So yeah, never had to recraft it because I never decrafted it. And then let's say they unban Toad right now. If they unban Toad at this very moment, where is it? There it is right there. If they unban Toad right now, I still got Toad crafted. So I don't have to spend gems to try to get this back just because it got banned. I don't have to try to like hold out for gems, because most of the time this is how our gems look. If I'm being honest with y'all, this is how our gems look. It's just like this. Everybody uses them shits up because do you want to spend money out of your wallet, or do you want to just use the gems that you got to finish that craft that you needed, that build that you needed? So most of us are like this when it comes to URs. Now, the super rares, you know, hey, listen, I got plenty of those. I can just go craft shit and I'll be okay. Normals and regular rares, I can craft fucking every. Matter of fact, let me show y'all something. Look, we will put this to unobtained. Look, everything. I have every single card in this game crafted. I put this to the obtained order, or actually I need to do it the other way. I'm sorry. I need to do it like this. Number owned. So this shows like what cards I don't have. This is the only card that I don't have, and I'm pretty sure it's probably new. So this is the only normal card that I don't have, and it's not about to be that way soon. There it is. So now I've literally crafted 100% of every card in this game that is a normal or a rarity. So I have everything in terms of this. In terms of super rares and ultra rares, I pretty much got damn near everything. So in terms of super rares, let's look at it. So from here all the way down, I have all the super rares. And then these are the cards that I just don't have. Just that small amount there, right? These are mostly cards that I'll never ever need because these are decks that I've never played. So this shows you how many decks that I've actually played, which is majority of the decks in the game because I have majority of the cards crafted, and I've played damn near everything. So that's one of the reasons why I also play so good at the game is because I've played a lot of decks. I try out a lot of shit if I'm being honest. I know this is a long video for me to just show off Mitsurugi stuff, but if you're still here, you're probably just interested. I'll tell you this deck right here, I've never saw anybody play this. Never. I've saw people play Mitsurugi Snake Eyes, Fiendsmith, but not like this. I create my own shit. I've never saw anybody do this. You just saw me in this video do Yummy. Never saw anybody tour guide or singing, but I'm telling you, tour guide into singing, search for a hand trap, next level. Most people don't think of stuff like that, and the reason I'm saying this is because I want y'all to know that if you get an idea for something, just do it. Fuck if anybody else is doing it or not. Listen, my Crystron deck, one of the most powerful Crystron decks, I play it in a way that I don't see anybody else doing it. Am I the only one doing it? No, but I don't see anybody else playing Adventure plus the title in the deck. Literally, let me explain this real quick. You use title to send this water enchantress if you have it in your hand. If you draw these two, boom, you also send Smiker, or vice versa. You send this with this to send this as well. So you always sending the cards that you need to the graveyard. This helps you make your Crystron plays. When it comes to Draco Tail, I have a basic list, but I also put in the Dark Hexil Fusion and then the Light Hexil Fusion. And basically, because I put these in when I get access to Branded Fusion, this will also make it to where I get access to Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. So boom, very easy to do that. When it comes to what other decks do I got? Where's it at? Hell, even when I play tier limits, I play tier limits in a way that people don't really play, using transaction rollback and virus cards. Don't really see people doing that, and it is so funny whenever you do this, because if you activate this deck devastation virus or eradicator or whatever the case may be, depending on the deck, you can actually screw your opponents over. So if you play deck devastation virus or whatever virus card that you want, let's say your opponent is playing Draco Tail, right? You do the virus combo and you get Eradicator plus a transaction rollback. They do their full Draco Tail combo. They set their traps. Once they get all their traps set and they get ready to end their turn or attack or whatever the case may be, you basically deck devastation virus or Eradicator, call traps, boom, all their traps go to the grave. Now they literally have to try to win with just monster effects. Imagine playing Draco Tail with no horn, no flame, no sting. All they have is the Kitu, the Rahu, the Branded Fusion, and the Phimina. as their monster effects, and then hand traps. And like they're trying to win with just these monster effects. And like a lot of the times, if you're playing Draco Tail, a lot of the time they don't even have access to anything but Gulamail. So all they'll really be able to do is just pop shit. Because you called trap, so you just pop all 3 traps at the same time. Or you could just call spell, and when they add it to their hand, boom, it gets popped. If they set it, then you're kind of screwed because it doesn't pop it. But you could just wait until they actually set 2 spells and then call spell, and then it'll flip them over and pop them. And then also when it comes to monsters, if you get the Deck Devastation virus or the other one, the Crush Card virus or whatever the case may be, basically it'll pop the cards in their hand that have less than 1500 attack or defense, depending on which card you actually use. And that can be devastating against like Femina if it's attack, or Malulu if it's either of them, or the deck that has been everybody's been kind of running rampant with, because all of these are pretty much under 1500 attack. So yeah, you basically can fully screw Yummy over because they can't get Yummies on the field. And so they would have to basically play, even the cards that I was recommending can't really play through that. So yeah. Also, they set their field spell. You can pop it with the Deck Devastate or Eradicator. So yeah. But yeah, this video is going on way too fucking long. So hopefully I showed y'all something that could be useful to you, and hopefully y'all try it out. And I'm looking forward to seeing the new Vanquish. The fuck am I talking about? Vanish. I'm looking forward to the new Vanquish soul support. Hopefully it's coming soon. Because I'm not gonna lie, it's been fun playing Mitsurugi Yummy. It's been fun playing Draco Tail. Sometimes I kind of almost want to make just Yummy, because it's not necessarily that I think Mitsurugi Yummy is boring or anything, but there are times where I get tired of playing the same thing over. So sometimes I want just Crystron, just Draco Tail, just Yummy, just Nordic, just Snake Eyes, because this is truly a Mitsurugi and Snake Eyes deck, like, for the most part. The other stuff in there is just kind of like beneficial to it, and I'll kind of give y'all some insight on this deck. If you've ever saw this deck in play, you'll know how powerful this is. This is the longest win streak deck that I've played ever. This is the deck that I've got the most wins in a row with. And there's a good reason for it. So we got Deception of the Sinful Spoils. And you may be thinking, well, isn't that card a brick? No. The brick for it is Hallowed Azamina. You got a 1 of Hallowed Azamina, and you have multiple ways of getting to Deception, not just the 3 there. You also have the 3 Diabell Star to Black Witch, which can get you to Deception, and then you also have your 1 copy of Wanted. Where's Wanted? Right there. So I feel like this is kind of important to explain this. Deception, I've explained this a million times, but let me explain it again. Deception tributes, which means that you can tribute your other bricks. So if you draw these in your hand and you don't have access to Habakiri or a way to do those plays, or if your Habakiri gets negated for some reason and you can't get to your ritual, but you also have a Futsu or a Mirakumo, and then you have access to deception in some kind of way. You can deception, tribute, it'll search, and then boom. What does deception get you? Deception gets you Hallowed Azamina. Hallowed Azamina gets you Murusilago. Murusilago will get you to Snake Eyes plays because it can search for Sinful Spoils, or you could search for Wanted, which will also get you another card draw if you haven't. Where's Wanted? Right there. And then if you haven't summoned Diabellstar, if you started off with Deception, you can search for Wanted. Wanted will search for Diabellstar. Diabellstar will search for Sinful Spoils. Sinful Spoils will get you to Snake Eye Ash. I know that's a lot. I know that's a fucking lot. But then once you get through with your Snake Eyes plays, you can finish those off with Fiendsmith plays. So basically Deception goes Deception for Azamina. This will be your Omni Negate. So you start your combo off with an Ilia Silva Omni Negate, and then you go Azamina into Snake Eye into Fiendsmith. And then I know what you're thinking, well, Mike, how does Mitsurugi blend in all of this? Well, if you have a Mitsurugi name in hand when you have Deception, basically you can then activate search for one of the, or send one of these to tribute, and then grab Habakiri, and then now you'll be able to do Mitsurugi plays as well. The synergy is much better than what I think most people think. When they see this, they think it won't work. But if you watch my videos, you'll see it works way better than you would think it does. Also, you can take out some red reboots. Like, I've put Handtraps in here to prioritize Handtraps over some shit that I think could be more important, because you could run like Aramasa at 3. And it's kind of important in a way. It's not necessarily that you're going to be normal summoning Aramasa. Let me explain this. If you draw Aramasa, and I'll go in a way that's hard for a lot of people to understand. If you go Aramasa and then you also get access to Wanted, that is full combo completely. You get literally everything. You will have access to Azamina, Ilia Silva. You will have access to Mitsurugi, and all of it, Snake Eyes, Fiendsmith, everything, and all of it without even using your normal summon. But Mike, aren't you going to normal summon Aramasa? No. You want it, search for Diabellstar. Diabellstar will summon, discarding something. You discard whatever the fuck you want aside from this card. And then when you get Deception on the field, you tribute Aramasa. Aramasa will trigger to add Mitsurugi. Boom. If you don't have this card, guess what else can search? Boom. This card can search for this. This card can search for this. All you have to have is Deception. So Deception opens you up for so many more possibilities. That's why I'm explaining all of this. The only reason I'm really explaining this is because, like, people keep asking me, like, why do I have specific cards in my deck? Like, I've had a lot of people ask me, bro, why do you have Deception in a Snake Eyes deck or a Mitsurugi deck? Why? What is Deception there for? How does it even synergize? I'm telling you how it synergizes. And here's the thing. Sometimes when you activate Deception, like, and you tribute one of these and you go to use the search effect, sometimes even if they ash these, it doesn't matter because you already have this in your hand. Sometimes you already have what you need. It's just, it's baiting your opponents, and they'll waste it sometimes trying to stop you from getting access to Mitsurugi stuff because they see you tribute with Deception. And here's the thing, Nobody does this shit. Nobody plays Deception in Mitsurugi but me. I'm the only person that plays this. Now, could there have been somebody who saw my videos over the last 2 months, 3 months that I've been doing this, and now that somebody else sees it and they're possibly doing it? Maybe. But for the most part, nobody does this, just me. So whenever you activate Deception, they automatically think that you're on Azamina. So when you tribute, they're like, what the fuck did he just, like, is this Azamina Mitsurugi? And they put everything into stopping the Azamina plays, and they put everything into stopping the Mitsurugi plays. And then they think they got you beat. And then you start doing Snake Eyes shit. And they're like, oh, fuck. He's got Snake Eyes in here too. And then you start doing Fiendsmith stuff. And then they're like, bro, how do we beat this? There is no beating this deck. This is the best deck in the game. No matter what you play to, no matter what you play against, you're beating it. You drop your balls on them. If they're playing Lunalights, you just drop your balls on them. Lunalight beats Draco Tail. It beats fucking Yummy. It beats all of those decks. Like, bro, here's I should just give up on this video, but let me show y'all something real quick. This is your standard Draco Tail build. This is your standard Draco Tail build. Right? I want to know, how does this deck, how does Draco Tail or Yummy, how do either of these two decks beat? I don't even know if I have the fucking deck built. It's so funny if I do though. Do I have that shit built? I don't think I do. I shouldn't even be giving people this as advice. But here's the thing. Draco Tail can actually beat it. It does have a way to beat it if you're playing the branded version. This card right here, Albion the Sanctifier Dragon, can help you beat the card that I'm about to show y'all. But look, it's so fucking toxic. Let me turn this to back to like the default order. So I forget the name of the fucking card, but I'll be able to show y'all this shit. How does it beat Crooked Cook? How does Draco Tail beat Crooked Cook in defense? You know how people make Crooked Cook and they make it with like the fucking Xyz? Like, where's that damn card? I don't even see it on here, but you know how people make Crooked Cook using that fucking Karibo Xyz card? Like, this is your standard Draco Tail deck aside from these two cards. But this is for the most part your standard Draco Tail. The only way that this can beat Crooked Cook that I see in here, this is so stupid. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm just like, bro, this shit loses. It hard loses to Crooked Cook. The only way that you can beat Crooked Cook is to use this card right here, Albion the Sanctifier Dragon. What you would have to do with Albion the Sanctifier Dragon is summon a monster onto your opponent's side of the field, summon one of your own monsters onto your side of the field, and then if it's Fallen of Albaz that you're summoning off of this card, you just cannot activate the Fallen of Albaz. You have to leave the monster on the Crooked Cook side of the field. They're going to activate Crooked Cook, which is going to wipe that card off the field, so then that way you can't do anything about it. And then you have to pass turn, and then you got to do this 2 more times. So they can use up all of their Crooked Cook material. But if you don't know that, if you don't have the brain to know that this is the out, or if you don't run this card, if you don't play the branded version, you only play just pure Draco Tail, how do you out Crooked Cook? With Draco Tail. That's so funny to me. How do you out it? Then if they're playing Yummy, right? Let's say they're playing Yummy Mitsurugi, pure Yummy, whatever the case may be. How do they out Crooked Cook? Because this extra deck is fucking tight. It is so tight. Yummy extra deck is so tight that they more than likely will not have room to put Underworld Goddess in it. And because it's like Mitsurugi, pure Mitsurugi can out it because it has a tributing effect monster. But the Yummy Mitsurugi or Mitsurugi Raizio or whatever, they really don't have an out. They really don't have an out. So technically you could just Crooked Cook, destroy Draco Tail. You could Crooked Cook, destroy Yummy. Shit, you could Crooked Cook, destroy Crystron. I think all the top meta decks right now get destroyed by Crooked Cook. Aside from like Malice. Who the fuck is still playing Malice? That's actually very interesting that I didn't even think about. So it looks like I know my new deck that I'm gonna be playing. Crooked Cook. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.